Baby, I'm back. You can blame it all on me. Not really, because I'm annoyed. Yo, it's O, and I'm back for another video. This is so weird. I have not done that in so goddamn long. I decided to... What was I gonna do again? I have decided to actually do a Meet the Queens reveal reaction special. I don't know. It's been so long since I've done one of these things. I have a lot of thoughts on this cast. And I think you guys know why I do. Before I get to the cast reveal and everything too, of course, I know I'm in a different environment right now. Things are just a little bit not going the best for me. So we'll talk about that later. I do plan to do more Drag Race content when I move to LA. Hopefully, I'm able to move to LA within a month and a half, 2 months. Fingers crossed. And a lot of these girls are actually from California, so it's gonna be pretty dope. So before I talk about the girls, I'm gonna talk about a lot of stuff that I've heard prior to, about this season. I know a lot about this season. I knew the cast since about July, August. So when I saw them revealed, it wasn't really shocking to me. It just was great to see them in their promo photos. I'm a little scared. Production's hand has been heavy in it. And I'm a little nervous that production's gonna have a huge part in how the season's gonna play out. I don't want another Drag Race Down Under. I do not want a lot of issues that happened with Drag Race UK3 to happen with this season, because we know episode 4 through 7 of UK3 was rough. I just want this to be a very organic, natural season, something similar to season 2 of UK, or even season 12 of Drag Race US. That was amazing. Or even like All-Star 6, which was phenomenal. It's a lot of goops and gags, and I'm nervous. So without further ado, let's get started with the season 14 queens, starting with Alyssa Hunter. I think she's absolutely beautiful. And she's also very attractive out of drag as well too, which means absolutely nothing. Remember when I told you that I knew about the cast prior, like since like August? Alyssa was one of the girls, one of 3 girls I kept forgetting about. She didn't really pop out to me a lot. And that's very shocking because she was the first girl that we were introduced to. So usually that girl stands out immediately. It's usually the first girl and the last girls I'm gonna remember a lot. Alyssa, I kept forgetting about. But I will say this, her makeup is beautiful. I did like her Meet the Queens outfit. She didn't really leave much of an impression on me at all. One thing that I did notice about Alyssa, which I did not like, is her name. Her name is taken from Alyssa Edwards, of course, a Drag Race icon, and from Deja Hunter, a former Miss Continental. So usually when I see a queen that kind of takes a name from another queen, it gives me issues with originality, because if you can't think of your own name, how are you gonna perform in the competition in terms of producing original content? In actuality, even though she was the first queen that we were introduced to, I remember the second queen the most, which is Angeria Paris Van Michaels. I love her so much. She reminds me a lot of Jada in terms of the aesthetic. By the way, I've met Jada Essence Hall in real life. That queen is so fine in drag and so fine out of drag. My God. And Jada is so sweet, like super nice. Like hung out with us for a little bit, like for a couple minutes. Essentially my favorite winner. But she also gives me Heidi in terms of her charm. She is so charming. She is so sweet. That Southern accent, and she paints down. I knew that she's a pageant queen. She's a fierce queen, and she's a hell of a performer. I think RuPaul is going to love Angeria. I think he's going to love her so much because she is not only has that polish, she has that charm. She is going to be a star. I love her. I want her to go as far as possible. Is she going to win? I'm not sure, but she's definitely one of my faves I'm looking out for too. Next up, Bosco. I love Bosco. I think Bosco is different because we often get a very different type of drag queen from Seattle, Washington. A lot of the Seattle queens that we've had, Jinx, Deja, Robbie Turner, I believe Magnolia Crawford, they've had a much more vaudevillian feel to them, old Hollywood feel. And Bosco has this very like interesting type of drag. She says very villainous, which I can totally see, but also Bosco is funny as fuck. Like, even for the fact that your name was taken from your dead dog, and the way she delivered that, I was like cracking the fuck up. Bosco came with some amazing looks. My fear with Bosco is I'm not sure how she's going to be as a lip syncer. I see her actually going all the way. I also see her potentially having a Got Mick moment of getting to that top and being knocked out because she's not the strongest lip syncer. She is one of my favorites going into the season, so I think she's gonna do quite well. Miss Betty. Daya, or Betty as she's sometimes shortened as, but I prefer Daya, honestly. I like that her name comes for her being a diabetic. I think that's really interesting to take something that's kind of like inconvenience in your life and kind of turn it on its head and make it kind of interesting, kind of similar to like Trixie Mattel taking this word that was used to demean her by her stepfather and using it and making a brand out of it. Betty definitely reminded me a lot of Crystal Method. I have my eye on her, but there's something about her that's not fully connecting with me just yet. We all know that RuPaul loved him some Crystal Method. She loved Crystal Method so much that Crystal could have possibly been in the bottom a few times, and Ru definitely saved her because he had a boner for Crystal. I think that may affect how Daya is in the competition because I wonder if she's going to be compared to Crystal a lot. Daya and Crystal are very similar, and I don't know how this is going to play out. I'm not sure. I have my eye out on Miss Thing right here. So I think she's going to be a good contender. I think she's going to be strong. I think her looks are going to be very interesting, but I want to see more. Miss Deja Sky. Deja at first did not leave an impression on me in the like arcade Meet the Queen part, but I watched her Meet the Queen's video and I immediately said, this is my Miss Congeniality of the group. I love her personality so much. Oh my God, I loved her. I've never became a fan of somebody that quickly, that fast. Like, it took literally 3 minutes for me to start sending this queen. I love Deja. She is so funny, and she's so naturally funny, and she's just so charismatic, and I love her. I love her so much. And looking at her looks too, they're very well put together. Like, they're very well done. My only thing with Deja is that I think she puts a little bit too much highlighter right here, giving me very, I can't mention her, shit pie vibes. But her personality is just off the charts. I think she is such an amazing queen. I loved her. I think I'm gonna love her looks. I'm gonna love her personality. I'm gonna love her confessionals. She's going to be one of the hearts of the season. I am a huge fan of Deja, and I cannot wait to see more. Next up, Jasmine Kennedy. Jasmine gave me very much pretty girl who can dance the house down, do flips, probably give you a nice beat and a nice look, but I don't know if there's anything more to her than that. That's why I want to see her in the competition, because I want her to surprise me. Because in Meet the Queens, I didn't get much from her. I didn't even really get much charm from her either. It was just that I'm pretty, I've been doing drag for a while, I have nice outfits, I'm pretty. So I want her to prove me wrong, but I didn't have much to say about her. Jasmine was actually one of the queens I kept forgetting about. I'll be like, oh, Daya, Deja, Kerry, June. Who's that bitch in the middle? Oh, Jerry Kennedy or Jasmine Masters or Kennedy Davenport. She did not stick out to me. I want her to prove me wrong. Hopefully she can do more. I say these things about these queens. I want them to prove me wrong and make me a fan. And I hope Jasmine can, because so far I'm just like, okay, you're cool. Georges. I've known about Georges due to, I think she was in a Casey Musgraves video, because I'm a Casey Musgraves fan. I like her paint. I like that she can dance down. Like, she's a performer. She's definitely gonna be one of the lip sync assassins, because I've been looking at her performances prior to the show. Her Meet the Queens was really interesting. It reminded me a lot of Gia Gunn in terms of her, like, oh my God, in the way she talks. Like, she kind of like holds her words very long, which is a slight pet peeve of mine, which I found it a little bit annoying, but I think I'm gonna like her. My one thing about Georges is I don't really like her name, only because it doesn't flow off the tongue really well. It's hard to form my mouth to say Georges. I wish her name was like Georgie Gorgeous. I think Georgie for her would be such a cute name, but Georges is just, it just doesn't sound right saying it. I feel like she's also gonna be one of these young, pretty girls who thinks she can get by with just being hot and pretty. And I'm not sure if that's gonna be enough to push through, because there's competition here, like some strong competition. And I want Georges to prove me wrong, but girl, maybe you can. I don't know. Looking out for you though, boo. I know you're gonna kill it in the lip sync though. June Jambalaya. I think she may have one of the prettiest faces in Drag Race history. The close-up of June when she was talking in the Meet the Queens video, this queen is stunning. And her voice is so like soft and like supple and like, oh, it just, I wanted to do ASMR. I did not like her runway when she was doing the arcade look. I didn't like the little, that brown turtleneck under it. The Meet the Queens made me a huge fan of June. Like, damn, I really like this girl. She's somebody, when I move to LA soon, I am dying to see. I am dying to see her. I cannot wait to see how June is going to perform in front of us. I can't wait to meet her. I can't wait to tip her. If possibly, if I can get her a big hug, I would love to, because I really like her. I really like June. Kerry Colby. Kerry Colby may be the finest queen in Drag Race history. Kerry made me legitimately question my sexuality a little bit. I'm not even gonna lie. Kerry is just so fucking beautiful. Like, my word, that is a beautiful woman right there. She's one of our trans contestants too, and I mean, that runway walk she did with the arcade, like, it just reeked of Sex Kitten, and I was like, am I in love? Do I have to tell my boyfriend that she may need to be a third? Like, Kerry is sickening. That look that she had walking in through the arcade, her Meet the Queens. She is so eloquent. She's so like well-spoken. She's also a part of the House of Colby. So I believe she is Sasha Colby's daughter, who is a former Miss Continental. And if you paid attention to All-Star 6, Kylie also mentioned that Sasha was her roommate and is a close friend of hers too. Kerry, I am so excited to see. She is definitely one of my favorites. I think she's gonna be a great performer. I just hope she doesn't get in her own head and messes up, because I really, 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 really do like her. I really love her so much. Next up, cornbread, the snack jeté. If I had to pick who I thought would be an immediate winner from this top 14, it would be cornbread. It would easily be cornbread. Charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent just stamped on there. So amazing, so incredibly talented. She's also our other trans contestant on the show too. I think cornbread is going to be a force. She immediately charmed me in that Meet the Queens video. In that runway walk, I loved her. I think she's going to be the queen that everyone is going to love. Love, love, love. In terms of like the heart of the season, it's gonna be her and Deja. They're gonna make us feel the most. They're gonna make us laugh the most. They're gonna make us cry the most. And they're going to make us like love them the most. I can just hear RuPaul saying, cornbread, the snack jeté. Because you know she always does some weird shit like that. I really just wish that she just went by cornbread. I can imagine myself being in like Mickey's or in like Rocco's in WeHo and hearing the DJ saying, give it up for cornbread, and literally me just stopping and being like, bitch, who's cornbread? It can really just be cornbread. Kind of like what Eureka did with Eureka taking off O'Hara and just going by Eureka. She could just do that, but cornbread jeté is a cute ass name. I think she's a star. I think she's an absolute star. Lady Camden. Another one too that I did not remember much about. Like I kept forgetting about Lady Camden a lot actually. She's a UK queen. She's from, I believe, London. When I saw her Meet the Queens, it was very interesting too, because compared to like Jasmine and Alyssa, the Meet the Queens didn't really do too much for me. With Lady Camden, when I saw it, I remember distinctly leaning in and turning my volume up to listen to her, because there was something about her that was still very intriguing. I feel like she's going to blend in at the very beginning of the competition. As the girls kind of lessen, she is going to pop out more and more and more. I think with a group of 14 queens, she kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But when we get down to maybe like a top 8 or a top 7, I feel like Lady Camden is going to start storming through. I really do like her. I think she proves to me that a queen doesn't necessarily have to be outspoken or like super loud or super boisterous to have a personality. I have my eye on her and I really want to do well. I like her. I like her a lot. And now we gotta get to the big thing, Maddie morphis. So Maddie is our first cisgender heterosexual queen. And I knew that she was gonna be on the show for a while. I knew the fandom was going to react in such a big way. My God, I didn't realize it was gonna be as crazy as it was. Prior to the show, I was like, okay, drag is for everybody. Drag can be done by anybody. It can be consumed by anybody. It's entertainment. It's art style. It's very subjective. There's no confines of what drag is. My issue with Maddie morphis was in her Meet the Queens, where she said that she feels like that as a cisgender heterosexual male, she's breaking a glass ceiling, and that she can inspire other cis-het males to embrace like more of their feminine side and realize that gender and sexuality is quite arbitrary, which I do agree with that too. Our LGBTQ mafia asses have been saying this for 11 plus years on the show. Actually almost 13 now. And that's a message that's not just intrinsic to like the LGBTQ plus community. Accepting yourself, realizing that you can be completely masculine and have a feminine side, or you can be completely feminine and have a masculine side. Gender is just a stupid ass construct. We've been saying that on the show for so long. I don't know why it takes a cisgender heterosexual white male to make it palatable for other cis-hets to accept it. I don't think Maddie necessarily deserves a lot of the hate. My question comes in with production and RuPaul, because when I see this, it just feels more like a gag than anything else. And what I also see is that we got a cisgender heterosexual queen, right? What about drag kings? We only got one AFAB queen in Victoria Scone, who was also a lesbian, and she got put through the ringer by a lot of people, and she's a part of the community. And AFAB queens are very much a part of the community and very much part of drag and get a lot less work than gay men who do drag, and maybe even Maddie her damn self, because you can't see sexuality, but you can see the fact that Victoria obviously identifies as a woman. It makes me feel like this is not as necessarily as revolutionary as they may have thought it was. It just feels more so like a gag. What I wanted Maddie to say in her Meet the Queens is that I'm a cis-het white male. I have all the privilege in the world. And even though in the 4 walls that is the workroom, I am a minority, outside of that, I have the most privilege out of anybody, any contestant that's ever been on the show, because Maddie can do drag and then go back and be with his girlfriend or his wife and everything, and it's not questioned. Like, the most Maddie may get is some like heat from the LGBTQ plus community and maybe called some weird shit by cishet people, but at the same time, you can still exist. You can still do so much. You can have so much privilege. A lot of these queens outside there, they still have to watch their backs when they leave those four walls. They still have to fight for their rights when they leave those four walls of the workroom. In the real world, they're the minority and he is the majority. So I really want WOW Presents, I want Rue, the producers, and Maddie to be very careful how they navigate this storyline, because it could be very, very good, or it could be very, very bad. And right now, it's looking definitely like the latter. Aside from that, I love her look. I love this Vision-inspired WandaVision look. It's so funny. I looked at her Instagram too, and her looks are very clean. Her looks are very good. They're not the most exciting, but I don't know how Maddie's gonna perform. I just want Maddie to realize that being in this show, being a drag queen, your drag is valid. Being on an LGBTQ plus centric show, remember that you're a guest in our household, and be very respectful of the other 13 queens, and realize that you have a lot of privilege and you are taking space from a person of our community that could have been there. I hope she's able to handle it with care and with grace, and does a lot better than that Meet the Queens video, because it did not do much for me. Orion story. Not gonna lie, I got immediate first out vibes. I was not impressed by Orion a lot. I didn't like her Meet the Queens. I like her dress in her promo shoot. She did not interest me at all. I was getting nothing from her, like nothing. I didn't really care for her makeup that much at all either. There's not much even to say about her. I don't even remember her a lot. And it's so funny because I remember her because I remember the name Orion Story. I was not drawn in by her at all, and she has to do a lot for me to get drawn in. And from what I'm talking about, she's really not getting talked about that much too online. So I don't know. I hope she can prove me wrong. I hope she can be more interesting in the show, because she wasn't doing too much for me right now. And that's honestly all I gotta say about her. Like, she left not much of an impression on me. I'm sorry, Orion, and don't take this personally if you see this video. I want to be a fan of yours too, but so far it wasn't too great. And last up is Willow Pill. Love Willow Pill. I love that she's Evie's drag sister or drag daughter or drag cousin or whatever. We don't see a lot of queens from Denver, Colorado. And I just recently went to Denver through a layover. And by the way, Denver is such a cute city. Loved it down. I loved Willow. I think she's gonna pull some interesting, crazy looks. It's so funny because even though I do get Evie vibes from her, I get a lot more ethereal fairy vibes because she kind of looks like a fairy in drag. That's not a gay joke either. And I think RuPaul's gonna like her because RuPaul loves some glam. He loves weird, but it still has to be a little bit of glam. And I think Willow Pill won't have an issue doing that too. I think it's gonna be very interesting about her talking about her kidney illness. A lot of these queens go through a lot of health issues too. I think she said that it's something that's gonna affect her life and continue to affect her life. So for her to kind of do this at 26 and be put on a national platform and her just slaying, I'm excited for her. I'm very excited for her. I'm looking out for Willow Pill. She's one of my favorites too. So those are the 14 queens. I'm very interested in this season. I'm very intrigued by this season. I don't know how this is gonna play out. I hope it's much more natural season. I hope it's a much more enjoyable season. I hope it doesn't feel as long as season 13 did. But I hope we get another fabulous winner because Simone was amazing. The Ebony Enchantress is one of my favorite winners of all time. Out of this crop of 14 girls, I can see winners. Well, that's my video for this week. You guys follow me on my YouTube and follow me on my Twitter, yo, it's O. And follow me on my Instagram too. Thank you guys for watching this video. Congratulations, Crystal Versace. You did that in the finale. I'm rooting for you, Pythia, for Canada's Drag Race. And Dragula, we are going for Saint, Sigourney, and the Dolly. The Dolly's fine ass. My God. I think I may be rooting for the Dolly the most, honestly. Yo, it's O, and I'm out. Bye.